is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another exciting episode of the True Earth Debates. That's right, we're going to try something a little bit different for those of you who are regulars here. You know that I usually do one or the other open panel where all of you lovely folks can join up, give us your opinions, your arguments for the True Earth discussion, or, of course, the dredges of TikTok in which we dive in search of intelligent life. Today, I decided, why not do both? Right? We can go ahead and squeeze that in. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing the first half of the show, Tribune v. TikTok, and then the second half of the show, open panel. So that way you guys can have a chance to actually jump on in and give some of your opinions, your thoughts on the discussion, and maybe advance it even further. So something fun I thought we would try. Should be a good time. We got 7 legends already over on Rockfin. Thank you guys for supporting. Not only do you support me from watching over there, but you also support tons of other legends as well. So there's only one way to know, and that is to go. So click the link in the description if you want to check that out. Welcome all those who are new here. We got MrTribune, John Bernhard's over in the YouTube, as well as Jess Palmer, Ace, Justin Johnson. What is up, my friend? Jess Palmer. Oh, shouted you out twice. You're welcome. Lord Racer. We also have Jeremy Bird. Much love, my friend. Nuba. Ruhif. What is up? I'm sure you will be listening in. We got Thrash List Smith. We got Nominal. We got Paul Grigger. King Shin. Anson Howard. Green Chili Bear. Chilling. And many, many more. Tapered Bodies, what is up? If I missed you, I apologize. We're not going to spend all day long doing the shout-outs as we typically do. We do need to get things rocking and rolling. I do realize that I actually forgot to get things pulled up for the TikTok. So that will take me actually no time at all. It's going to be pulled up right just now. So we are pretty much ready to go. So let's go ahead and dive right on in. I'm going to lose audio with you guys for just a second, so I apologize if I mess that all up by moving too far away from the mic, but is what it is. Let's go ahead and get things going. Appreciate you guys. We'll get it going, and of course, pull you in. So this will take just one whole second or so, and I got to re-put my re-put the background as always. No worries. Boom. All right, folks, welcome to the True Earth Debate. We're going to get things rocking and rolling here in just a moment. Got to get it rolling on the Rockfin and YouTube. And hopefully my internet doesn't want to be absolutely atrocious tonight. But we got some good weather, so we should be in for a good time. If my audio is a little off, just let me know in the comments, and I'll go ahead and fix it. This cord's been giving us a little bit of trouble, so we got to bear with it. But it should take no time at all, folks. Make sure you smash the likes. I'll go ahead and help you out just a little bit. We got to get up to 5K as quickly as we can. All right. I'll go ahead and help you out just a little bit. We got to get up to 5K as quickly as we can. All right. Go ahead and mute up there. And let's get you pulled in over on the other platforms. Folks, you have a chance to go and catch the full conversation because we're just starting right just now. But if you do know anybody who comes in late, feel free to send the full show. All right, I think we are good to go. Awesome. Now there's lag. Now there's probably no lag at all. All right, let's go ahead and get it going, guys. Smash the likes. The True Earth Debate is in full gear, cooking with oil, right? We have the two most mainstream options, I guess, of today. One much, much, much more mainstream than the other. But we do have the underdog catching ground, so pretty interesting to see what's happening here the last not even decade, right? as opposed to the 500 years of science that the globe has, right? So if you believe in the spinning, wobbling, precessing space pair that's going millions of miles an hour at breakneck speeds through space, then we definitely want to have the conversation with you. I myself tend to lean more towards the stationary topographical plane. They're not moving. There's no curvature measured. Pretty observable science, if you will. So go ahead and jump on in the box if you disagree. Hopefully you guys have enough followers. The only contingency is you got to have 1,000 to be able to join. That's why we do have it open panel over on the other side here in just a little bit. Halfway through the show, actually, we'll be jumping on over there. So if you can't join here, be sure to join up over there. Was Thuban the North Star in ancient Egypt? How in the heck would you know that? I don't have any evidence for that. Same universities that provide us education to doctors and engineers are lying about the flat earth. No, not everybody's a liar, right? It's just indoctrination and compartmentalization. Pretty easy to understand that, right? Not everybody has to be in on it. Not everybody has to be in on it, of course. All right. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of the old, tired arguments, a lot of the begging the questions, reifications, appeal to authority, appeal to majority, but nothing really of substance, right? Or will we? That'll be up to you. Let's see what you got for us today. Todd Matthews, this is not the stream. Just kidding. Anybody can preach their faith, I suppose. Just don't spam, right? Don't spam, don't be an arse. We got the True Earth Debate rules. Those who are familiar, you know. We may pull them up later if we have to, but yeah, we'll save that for when we get some guests and deal with them as they come. Icebroker, you just deny all evidence, right? Well, make it undeniable. That should be pretty easy. I'm not just going to hand wave away something that's just blatantly obvious, right? I'm going to call out the fallacy, though, if you're using it. Structure of the scientific revolutions. Wouldn't that be when the old generation dies and the new generation with their new ideas get to take over and that becomes the science of the day? I don't know. Apple user, that's a ridiculous question. Ridiculous question. Guys, smash the likes. Let's get this up to 5 to 10K ASAP so we can get your favorite Globers on to make some great points, right? Obviously, it should be easy to pull me out of this ignorant caveman belief, right? Only ancient cave dwellers believed that the Earth was flat, right? I mean, we actually do have models that work for the flat Earth, right? Like when we're mapping out the oceans, when we're doing local geodetic surveying, not even geodetic surveying, plane surveying is the word I was looking for. You can use plane sailing as well. You can actually navigate on this Earth as if it's flat. You also have Just Palmer with the 1,000 likes, man. Much love, my friend. Much love. And then we also have wave propagation over the flat Earth. Pretty easy to demonstrate that. Of course, you can beg the question, just claim that everything's just bouncing off, and going around a presupposed curve. But that doesn't really go to prove your ball, right? The Earth spins on an axis. It's a sphere. Tam, have you ever felt the Earth move or spin? My guess is no. My guess is not once. Of course, you could invoke the interferometry, right? We have the Sagnac effect that detects a 15-degree rotation, right? Yeah, but you don't know what's actually causing that rotation. The person who invented it actually thought that it was a rotation of an ether field or something like that. So there you go. And that's, of course, because light is a wave. If you still think light is particles, you probably should catch up. Here's one, another classic straw man here. The Earth is flat. Everywhere would be day at the same time. Only, again, if you presuppose the entire model, right? If you presuppose Pizza World, Pizza Planet out in the solar system with the sun 93 million miles away, then yeah, it stands to reason that it would be daytime all the time. But that's not what we're suggesting, right? We actually suggest something like a completely different model, right? Like we're the basement of the universe, if you will. Everything else is above us. Coming out with the greatest hits. Yeah, it's not a new debate, right? It actually has been going around for a little bit, but we're still out here looking for something of substance, something new, interesting, even. Maybe we can have a conversation, folks. If that's you, feel free to hit the guest box. Let me know if that thing's working. If not, we'll just jump on over to the open panels. No worries. We do appreciate you guys joining in. Again, any one of the flat Earth points that I made should be pretty easy to address. But while you're doing that, I would really appreciate somebody to actually bring up a nice, positive scientific evidence of the globe. Keeps trying to get me to do like the split group thing. And it's like, nah, we're not doing that. Not doing that at all. Let's just pull some random into a debate that they have no idea. Are there scheduled guests today? There's never scheduled guests in the TikTok debates, my friend. That's why you guys have to share the show, right? If you don't share the show, then nobody knows, and then you guys just get to see Flat Earth do a victory lap. And I know you don't want that, so. People don't understand that there actually is no scientific evidence of the globe, Josh Cunningham. That is correct. Chris Van Dam, you are also correct in the statement that the Globers are shooketh. Yeah. Yes, there is. All right. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and do a quick poll because we still got 70 people in here. Let's see uh, how many do we have of the flat earthers or people at least questioning the mainstream model, and then how many people that just are living right in Globerville where you just believe whatever's spoon fed to you, um, regardless of how counterintuitive it is. Icebreaker could jump on if he has enough followers, but he probably doesn't. I don't know. I don't want to be rude. What is up, my friends? He's eating. Well, we'll give him just a few. Icebreaker will be here for probably 5 more minutes. We'll do 5 more minutes if nobody jumps on. Somebody might want to come on and stall so that you can get a champion on. Otherwise, again, Flat Earth just runs away with it once again. Which is which? You got the globe, and you got the what I believe to be the true Earth, right? But I can be convinced. Absolutely no globers in here. Wow. I guess the I guess the mission's already complete, right? What can I say? We've been doing this for a little over a year now, so wouldn't be that surprising. Bro, do you think God broke the firmament to flood the world? What a ridiculous statement. He opened up the windows, man. Hey, thanks for the glasses and the crowns. You guys are awesome. True Glober? Do we have somebody named True Glober in the chat? True Glober, you if you there is somebody like that, then this is definitely the place for you. What in the heavens, indeed. What is up, Zaydow? Welcome. 3 Dollison. Earth is a sham. Yeah, globe Earth is a sham. I agree. You can obviously just look around, take it for what it is, or you can twist everything into being the opposite of what you see, and that will somehow help you lead a better life. I don't know. I don't really see how that helps you. Do you believe the Bible or just flat Earth? I think there's some truth in the Bible, but I don't use religion to, debate the shape of the Earth. Right? That'd be pretty ridiculous. That's not very scientific, right? So no, out of all 60 of you, not one person has anything has anything to say. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can pull somebody in. Who would be somebody called Moon? He'd probably be a Glober. We'll see. Just start inviting people. Pony faced corn pop. What a name, dude. What a name. Anonymous. The Earth is flat, and NASA lies. I think NASA's incredibly sketchy, right? An incredibly sketchy organization. Project Paperclip, which actually went not only to feed our scientific institutions with Nazis, right, but a whole bunch of other around the world, other government organizations as well. Although I do believe they use slightly different names. Not a globe earther. Oh, that's a shame. No worries, Moon. Share it with your favorite Globey, and we'll get this thing rocking and rolling. 4,000, guys. I'll help you out just a little bit. Let's go ahead and get this up to 5K, and then we should explode. NASA's are Nazis. That is true. Project Paperclip was under NASA. No, backwards, Dictator Cookie. NASA didn't exist until Project Paperclip. Project Paperclip happened. We brought in a bunch of Nazi scientists, and then Werner von Braun was one of those Nazi scientists that actually helped start NASA from there, right? So there you go. Try not to fall too far behind. Yeah, you can Google this. It's not hidden, right? Project Paperclip. Appreciate y'all smashing the likes, breaking your fingers over the screens. Try not to go too hard in the paint, right? I am surprised. I think that we may just have to go and might just have to go to a completely different platform altogether, right? Because no, the Globers here don't want to jump in anymore. Caleb did warn me about that. Get to read the CIA release of Adam and Eve's story, good sir. That's actually I didn't read it personally, but I have heard quite a bit about it. And I find it interesting that the same people releasing the whole like alien disclosure are also releasing like Adam and Eve's story and things like that, trying to convince us that the Bible is true. Because you blocked them all. Not just my block list is actually not that extensive at all. So I actually don't think that I've personally blocked people. So those would be my mods and everybody who kept on spamming that people were anti-Semitic. Yeah, you did get blocked. So if that's you, then you wouldn't be hearing this right now. So this message isn't for you, I guess. Of course, some comments in this live were filtered to protect the comments or the community experience. That's freaking hilarious. All right, we got Robert. What is up, my friend?
Hey, Trouble, how are you?
Heck yeah. 1 second, I was turning up the volume. Can you talk again?
Yep. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Oh yeah, we're good.
For sure.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, you've been a reoccurring guest here. I mean, what do you make of this situation, right, where the Globers just have run scared and believe that it's okay to just educate the masses on this lie, right? What happened to the moral high ground?
Yeah, it's kind of nerd, and I've only made it through a couple, but one was U.S. Navy officer, one submarine chief, another one was pilot, and yeah, I'm just getting through it. Like, and they all acknowledge, like, yeah, my entire life, not once did I question where I lived and what I lived on. And something sparked it and got him started looking into things, and like, son of a gun, I think these guys are right.
Robert, don't be ridiculous, man. All the science, all the satellites, all the data. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yeah, it gets really, really deep with some of them.
My goodness. It's the thing that it always falls back on, I found, is that they just get upset that we invoke conspiracy. It's like, oh, everything's just a conspiracy for you guys. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, if there's a lie going on about the shape of the earth, then there would, in fact, be a conspiracy. But of course, TikTok, don't get twisted, right? This is my personal opinion. This is basically my religious faith, right? And I do have the right to religious speech. So don't go blocking people who go around, of
Oh,
course.
for sure. Yeah, did you catch Weiss's video that he advertised, promoted, I think it was last week, about why the lie?
I have not, man.
I'm sorry, Weiss, appreciate it, but I snagged it and I put it up here on Tiki. And
Thief.
it's like it's the important thing is like, yeah, like the shape of the earth is not it's not the problem, it's the lie. If we've been lied to our entire lives about where we live, what else have we been lied to about?
Absolutely. Steve Alexander, let me just say the truth is so obvious, right? That's actually quite hubris of you. I think, regardless of what side you're on, if you think that you just like 100%, um, it just can't be anything else other than what you think, right? Then unfortunately, you're falling right back into the same trap that um, most of society falls into, right? That just regurgitates what's told to them in school without actually challenging it.
No,
So
for sure.
it's
Like, I'm sorry, I came across this realization. It was 8 years ago. Shout out ODD TV. You had some great presentations. And like I skipped like several videos in my next suggested. Like, nope, not even going to, not even going, nope, gonna keep, nope. And one day I was like, all right, I'll give you whatever the length of the video was. I'll give you this time. I'll let you say what you say. And afterwards, I'll be able to crumple it up and throw it in the trash can. Well, son of a gun, that was 8 years ago.
Scott. Welcome to the show, man. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, how you fellas doing tonight?
Doing awesome,
Doing
man.
great.
I'm trying to guess by your profile picture there. Would you be a fighter or a clipper?
Full blown flat earther.
Full blown.
Yes,
For
Hallelujah.
sure.
yeah, yes, 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 indeed. And the terrain around it doesn't change by like 40 feet or nothing. It's pretty flat all the way around it and for miles outside of it. And me and my wife thought it was kind of interesting, so I went and got the binoculars, and sure enough, you could see the tree line all the way around. And then I pulled up NASA's website and it said that at 19 miles it was like 190 feet and the trees are only about 40, 50 feet tall. And to prove my point, there was an antenna tower that was sticking up out of the trees that goes up 347 feet. And the trees being only about 50, 60 feet, yet I could see the antenna tower sticking out of them from 19 miles away. Well, that's just not physically possible on a curved earth. That's a beginning for it. So now I've been on here and I've seen the debates. I've been in a bunch of debates, and the one thing that bugs me more than anything else is, these Glovers get on here, and it just makes me wonder if it's just the money. Are they related to the some of the people that are, doing the lie? What is it that makes these guys come home from work and want to spend 2, 3, 4 hours a night on here defending something that they already believe in? That I just can't get past common sense there.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I think about telling somebody the truth about something. I not once ever defended it. Like if I told you the truth and I left it, like if you accepted it as the truth, that's great, that's awesome. If you didn't, that's on you. I'm not going to sit there and defend it.
Right. Well, that's what you mostly get. I've got about 300 videos on Facebook and probably about 3, 4 million views over the last. And you want to defend all the comments coming your way, but after you build up enough people that are kind of backing you, they tend to take on the fights and arguments for you. But it's the same thing out of these people that they're not really familiar with the flat earth, so it's easy for them to defend what they've been believed in and look at us as conspiracy theorists. But it only takes a good handful of videos to have it kind of start laying a seed and start ringing your bell for common sense. There's just so many flat earth videos out there. I used to record them because on YouTube, but they pretty much took all them off. All you can find on there now is year videos that are pretty much
You
just saying
still,
what
no, you
saying
still
what.
find some good ones. You just searching for them is not very easily through what they give us.
Right. They just want to call it misinformation, call us, yeah, say it's wrong and stuff. So, but
But yeah, you got a Weiss's app, don't you?
no, I don't. But I heard you saying something about David Weiss, and what was that called that you said he just came out with?
He was promoting advertising a video on his app. As soon as you opened up the app, it promoted a video, and quick link. You just tap on it, it takes you to the video on YouTube from YouTube.
Yeah, I know. Dare Talk Now is talking about an app that you can get to and download on your phone, and it keeps you kind of updated with flat Earth information, and you can see who else is on the app and kind of find local friends and stuff. Because let's face it, man, we get sight, we get discerned from our families and our friends, and you start getting into this uh, knowledge based stuff in your mind, and it's hard to walk away from it. None of us picked to be flat earthers. We just,
Hell no.
I didn't pick it. You think I want to be here sitting here talking to you guys, but then once you find out the truth and you realize what the lies are, and it's like you said, well, if they lied about the moon, what else are they about? What I tell most people is, hey, do you believe COVID was real? Oh, no, no, no. Do you believe that night?
Can't be in that
Do you believe that?
territory at all because I'm on Rockfin and YouTube. So
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
unfortunately, we're gonna have to cut that part. Just kidding.
Okay.
Again,
Yeah. No.
I've already prefaced this by saying religious views, opinion, yada yada yada. Take it with a grain of salt.
Sure.
Follow the medical advice of your doctors, right?
Correct.
Absolutely. We love them all.
But
Anyway,
they can.
the conversation was
people
running away anyway. So one thing that I really do like to do is I like to talk to people about like what was the big thing that woke you up to the truth, right? Like one of this thing behind me, right? Absolutely hilarious. You have the horizon at all kinds of different levels, and one thing you notice is that it definitely does not appear to be curving, right? Absolutely hilarious. Of course, we also have my favorite go-to is going to be wave propagation over the flat Earth. That was like a big tell for me. It's like, wow, we have actual models of this working um, without taking curvature into account. So, Scott, I'm curious as to what woke you up to this.
It's pretty much that story I was telling you about Lake Mille Lacs. Seen a couple of videos on it. It kind of crossed my mind, and then once I could see across this lake for 20 miles, so I started questioning it, and I started seeing that over in Switzerland, they can see those ice caps that are 305 feet above sea level, and at 31 miles, they're supposed to be several hundred feet below the curve. And then you look at Michigan, on that they could look across and see the Chicago skyline, which the news wanted to pass it off as a mirage, which is a reverse upside down image, and the John Hancock building there was supposed to be like 800 feet below the curve. And then you can look further. You can go into Kansas where it doesn't change for 60 feet and 400 miles. If it doesn't change for 60 feet and 400 miles, can you imagine how much it's got to double up for the next 100 or 400 miles? So it just is, the math is all there. And you know, and like I was saying before, if people can agree that 9/11 was kind of, the thermite and the third building going down demolition style was a
Yeah.
lie, if they can believe that the Kennedy assassination could have possibly been an inside job, I have a list somewhere of a bunch of stuff that most people even let's talk about the fraud of the presidency the last election. A lot of these things we know, but all of a sudden, these same people want to believe that we landed on the moon with all this facts out there. So for me, it was pretty much just that kind of information, putting it together and, yeah, I became a flat earther. Yeah.
No, what we can do is we can say, we can flip the burden, right? It's like, no, you have to prove that we didn't land on the moon. You have to prove that the pictures from space are fake, and all this good stuff. You definitely cannot rely on your eyes to tell you that you're not seeing any curvature, right? And you certainly can't rely on your senses to tell you that you're not moving.
Yeah, it's my wife just got home here, so I'm gonna go on mute for a second, but I'll listen to you guys and kick back in a couple minutes here.
For sure.
No worries.
All
Got
right,
Dr.
thanks.
Hasselblad in the comments as well. If you want to jump on in, maybe we can have a little bit of a back and forth. We do appreciate you, my friend. Trying to have the conversation as always for the True Earth debates. Let's go ahead and update this background here. What else do we got? Maybe somebody wants to address any of these.
Trouble, and you guys were having yesterday. Yes, sir. That was some good stuff. Never even thought about some of the stuff that you guys were talking about. And I'm like, gosh darn it.
Gosh darn it, man. Yeah, the moon phases are something that's super interesting, especially when we start developing. It looks like we already have our own completely working model that makes perfect predictions. And I mean, what are you going to do about it, right? Globers just have to be like, oh, well, I guess they have a model for that. But again, model doesn't necessarily equal reality anyway, right? So this whole like, oh, you have to have a model for it to be true is ridiculous, right? The truth is the truth, regardless of if you can model it or not. So we'd have to, we'd absolutely have to agree on that.
Falsification is independent of replacement. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call.
Go for it. 183-mile mirror flash. Holy. Yeah, that's it's pretty far, but they were. Now, let's go ahead and give a little bit of information on that. They were pretty high up, right? So we actually do have ones where it's like on the surface of the water, and it's like 20 miles. So those ones 100% would debunk the curvature. And then we also have sonar that's going 400 miles. We have long-distance photography, 275 miles confirmed with the long-distance world record to Peak de Fenestrelles. And then we also have microwaves that go 250 miles via line of sight. Radio waves, this one's really important, right? Because radio waves, it's claimed that that's going to bounce off the ionosphere. So we can do what's called over-the-horizon observations. But with this, when you go over 100 megahertz, it goes right through the ionosphere. So what the heck is causing that radio wave that's going through the ionosphere to be able to make it to the other side of the Earth? 2,700 miles is a good distance, right? So, yeah, these are all very good proofs of the lack of curvature of our realm. And then we also have, if you want the motion, right? Because everybody always invokes the sky. They're like, oh, the sky moves a certain way, therefore we know that the Earth has to be moving so many thousands of miles per hour, spinning 1,000 miles per hour, but only at the equator. Yeah, that's actually never been measured. It's been attempted to be measured several times. You have people like Einstein acknowledging that there actually is no terrestrial evidence that the Earth is moving, right? So, and this is because just to get my picture back over here on the YouTube. There we go. We're back. Freedom R Us, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for coming on.
What's up, Tribune? How's it going?
It's going fantastic, man. What brings you into the True Earth debate today?
I do got a question. I'm a level earther, but I do got a question though.
Yeah, man, fire away.
What are your thoughts on tides?
Man, tides are weird. So I tried to find correlation with the moon, and I couldn't really find a good correlation there. So I don't know why people are saying that the moon has anything to do with it. There's these like tidal nodes that occur. It seem to be where the magnetic field lines intersect. But that's again, it's really hard to pinpoint exactly what's going on there. Maybe there's more water that comes up in certain areas.
There's a guy that did this test. He took like this large tanker bolt in diameter, and he put some things on it to make it look like land. And he put a positive charge on the North Pole, being in the center, and on the outside he had this negative charge, and it actually created currents going around there, which is kind of a strange thing. I don't know how to explain it any more than that. But there was a video out there. But I think it was called like Flat Earth Currents Explained or something like that. So there was a video on there. I can't remember if I copied that and put that on the list, but I thought it was kind of interesting how he did that, how he made land and he had this big round thing with water in it. He put a charge to it and it actually created kind of a vibration or a current through there and stuff. So I thought that was interesting. Anyway, I thought I'd mention that.
I've seen that one time, but it was very brief. That's something that I think would be pretty cool to do. If anything that you can do to actually recreate the phenomenon, right? But this would be the weird thing, right? So if it is a charge that's causing the currents, right, then this is going to sound like such a Glober question, but why in the heck wouldn't you get electrocuted then during like high tide, right? Because I'm pretty sure if you stuck your finger in the water of that little demonstration that you would get electrocuted.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, running a current through water, but it's yeah, making the water move. That was the interesting part about it, you know. So on a small scale, as big as the Earth is, on a small scale, you can see that could have something to do with waves and ocean tides and stuff.
Possibly, man. It's definitely something worth considering. It's just those very obvious basic questions definitely need to be tackled.
Yeah, sorry. Neighbor needed some firewood.
No worries, man. Nothing quite like helping a neighbor, man. If we have just a echo chamber here, then we might move it on over to the open panel over on the other side, over on YouTube and Rockfin, because we are really looking to have some like opposition. Otherwise, hardly call it a debate, right?
I can throw an opposition question in there that I've been curious about.
Fire away, my friend.
How come Australia looks so long on a flat Earth map versus how big it looks on the globe?
They're basing it off of the time zones, I believe. So you stretch it when you're trying to make it fit within the latitude, longitude. But I just fire back and say, how do you actually know the whole like size of Australia? Nobody's gone up, I don't think, and actually seen the whole thing, right? You have to be like in a rocket, right, to see that.
Well, I think and it's tough too, because the one thing I seen was like on Google, someone was like taking and drawing a line around it, what its circumference was around the outside, and then it's kind of hard. That's of course on the computer. It's kind of, you can't really do that on a flat Earth, but when you look at that and look at the size of a portion of width to length, it seems like it's so much stretched out and so much bigger on the flat Earth equalization map, whatever. So I just thought that was a good question. It's something that's kind of been in the back of my mind.
Yeah, not a bad question, man. Appreciate it as well. Here's the thing that Globers say doesn't exist. It's actually navigation on the Earth as if it was a plane, right? This is called plane sailing. It's been around for thousands of years, apparently, if you believe in the mainstream timeline. There's the website. You guys, don't take my word for it, right? Just go ahead and check it yourself. You can actually get pretty distances doing plane sailing. I believe within like 1 nautical mile. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but yeah, it's
Trevor, do you know the distance on a nautical mile?
What's that?
What's the distance on a nautical mile? How's it different from a mile?
So nautical mile is actually based on the assumption that the Earth is a ball, and they base it off of I believe, an arc length.
Oh, is that where that comes from?
Yeah. So again, it's all begging the question on its face, right?
So does it make it shorter, or does it make it longer, a nautical mile compared to a regular mile? using the curve
Honestly,
method.
don't remember off the top of my head.
You'd think it'd be longer, wouldn't you?
Probably is.
Because if you're straight and you're curved, yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah, and I know I've heard a lot of people, ship people who've been on ships and stuff like that. They say their coordinates are way off when they're in the south compared to what they should be.
Okay.
Yeah, when you got the whole British Navy had to go out and do a whole bunch of corrections, and that's why we have what's called magnetic declination today, because they actually went out assuming the Earth was a ball, and they got it all wrong on where they thought they were going. So they had to make some corrections. Sometimes they'd be off by like 30, 40 miles just in a day, or a day or two. So it's pretty wild. But we can just, again, beg the question and assume that the Earth has to be a ball no matter what, that we have to be revolving around the sun no matter what, that we have to be spinning no matter what, and that we absolutely cannot be in any special place in the universe whatsoever. This is the last call for any Globers that want to hop in. I'm going to give it maybe like 1 minute before we go ahead and call it over here and start our open panel section. So all you Globers in here that have just been itching a chance to get at Mr. Tribune, but you just don't have the popular stat. All hope is not lost. You can have the conversation over in the YouTube and Rockfin, so it is going to be an awesome time. But in any case, let's go ahead and do that last call, shall we?
For sure. It's troubling. You ever play around on Telegram, getting conversations on there?
Oh yeah, I've been on Telegram for I don't even know how long now. Quite a while though.
Yeah,
So definitely check it out, Troubling Tribune. You can message me there. It's a great place to get in contact.
yeah, same contact information as this account.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah,
Excuse me.
to me, Telegram is very resourceful if you want to communicate. It doesn't video, phone, messaging, however you want to communicate with somebody. Telegram helps out.
Wait, NASA informant is actually a Glober? Wow. How intuitive. All right. Well, I believe that's going to do it over here. I do appreciate you guys tuning in, sending in the gifts, smashing the likes. It's always been a good time. Be sure to share this channel out with some more people. That way we can possibly get some more Globers in. If not, no worries. Again, we can just have the open panels over on the other platform. We do appreciate the crusade, though. It's been a lot of fun. Robert, Scott, any final words?
No, just keep doing what you're doing and stay strong.
Flat power, my
Yep.
friend.
Keep opening doors.
That's right. If the door is shut, the windows will open. Trey, prove space-time bends. Question of the night, right? There's absolutely no way Globers could ever prove that. Prove that space and time are even like things that are anything other than conceptions, right? Or so let's go ahead and get on out of here, folks. I will see you next time. Hop on over on the YouTube, and we are going to be continuing with the open panel. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you don't need a whole bunch. Go ahead and click the link that I'm about to put.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Alrighty, folks. Let's go ahead and get this open panel underway. Boom, we are back. Let's go ahead and get the heck off of this. Apologize that you guys have to see me dredge through here. They are I think that we will be possibly calling that segment here pretty soon if it keeps going like that, right? We don't have to keep doing that, of course. All right. So let's go ahead and get on with it. Appreciate you guys tuning in for the True Earth debates. I actually do need to take a little break here, so I'm going to play something first. Give you guys a little something to enjoy, to listen to, and then we will be right back. So definitely don't go anywhere. You don't have to switch to Rockfin. We're going to be keeping it on both platforms, of course, but we do appreciate you guys tuning in. So Bear with me for just one moment while I get this pulled up. I forgot to, as per usual, been a rough couple weeks. So all your guys' support has definitely been appreciated. Been doing a lot of conversating, a lot more than usual in the community. So it's been a lot. It's been really great getting to know you guys even more. So again, great place to reach out. It's going to be on Telegram. All right, where the heck? My computer's running just a little slow right now, so you're going to have to bear with me. I do apologize. It is what it is. Is what it is. Probably going to hit us with a commercial. We'll see. Where? All right. Perfect. Almost. Jesus. All right, this one's a new one. It's another one from Punch Deck. We're going to go ahead and enjoy some Halt State. So let's go ahead and kick it. I'll catch you guys in just a bit. If it ever wants to load. Awesome. See you guys in just a bit. Alrighty. We are back. Appreciate you guys staying tuned in. Go ahead and get the second half of the show kicked off with the open panel. But first, let's go ahead and check just a few things. Seeing a lot of comments getting deleted in the chat. What the heck? Excuse me. All right. MrTribune, of course. She's on a roll tonight. All right. Yeah, TikTok had its own host of problems anyway, so we'll go ahead and hop on that, get rid of that. Dumpster fire in a different way. Did not expect that. I was all ready to be like tough moderation, but it wasn't even needed. So, all right. Excuse me while I catch my breath. All right. Quick look at the back end. Let's go ahead and get the Zoom going. Did this in a little bit of a wrong order, but Russell Gregory with the 5 memberships. Much love, my friend. Much love supporting the channel. We appreciate you. Go ahead and grab up your memberships while you can. And meanwhile, here is the link to join. All right. Perfect. There you go. Forgot to pin it. And please do not hesitate to jump on in. Let's have the conversation. I know we got some new people in tonight, so we've been making some moves over on the Facebook. Try to get some fresh people in here, so we appreciate you guys. We do want to keep this going. Looks like the legends are all here. Awesome, man. Stego Bro, Justin Johnson, MrTribune, of course, Russell Gregory, Jeremy Bird, Shifty Eyes Shady. Can't believe you didn't have a membership yet. That's crazy. Commercial Sound and Video, chillin'. Bill Wheel. Excuse me. My goodness. Dying over here. All right. Got to enable that waiting room so we don't have any unwanted guests. Spammers, trolls, and the like. Yeah, there was one guy in the chat that was like screaming, "How do I jump in the box? Where's the box?" So hopefully they were smart enough to make it on over. Of course, we have our resident Glober, Ruhif. Welcome, my friend. Surprised you made it. I thought you had something you had to do.
Am I sideways?
Yeah, you are. Must be over in Australia.
No way.
There you go. Got to correct.
By the way, I can't hear you, Tribune.
Can't hear me at all? There we go.
There we go. Boom. Am I right way up?
Excuse me. Yep, there you go. You've corrected for the droppity.
Yes, I did. Thought I'd save you. Be your global guest.
Yeah, there you go. It was pretty bad over on TikTok. It's like they don't want to join up anymore. Pretty sad. Maybe it's a shadow banning. Who knows?
Maybe there's a correlation between Globers and accepting the mainstream narrative that TikTok's bad. Maybe that's it.
Nah,
Maybe.
there's tons of Globers on TikTok.
Okay, all right. Anyway,
If TikTok,
I've spent this morning. I've spent this morning making a video. Actually, I haven't published it yet, but it's addressing the supposed 700-mile observation from Snowdon over to the Alps. So yeah, I'm gonna break my virginity for the 50th time, putting out a video. I haven't done one in like 8 months.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
So is it already up or?
No, haven't actually recorded it yet. I've just done the PowerPoints on it this morning. So should be fun.
Nice, man. Well, looking forward to tearing that apart and proving out the 700-mile observation, and once again hammering another nail into the flat Earth coffin.
Okay. It's just clouds, by the way. It's just clouds.
It's always clouds. It's always clouds.
It's not always clouds. I should do another one on the Israel to Crete as well, because that doesn't line up either. Neither of them line up.
Oh, it lines up perfectly.
Doesn't. Definitely does not.
I'm pretty convinced of the observations, but I haven't. I don't think it's actually the same one that we covered before, right? I thought this one's already been covered, and
Yeah.
people are already trying to say that it's clouds. So I thought that maybe there was a new
Yeah.
one.
Oh, it's the same one, but I think putting it in video form allows you to go back and pause and check and that sort of shit. So yeah, I'm gonna go on mute for 1 second. Get Jim in here so I can eat my freaking lunch. And then I'll
Yeah, who
chat to
knows,
Jim.
dude? Jim, where are you at tonight?
Hmm.
Hilarious, absolutely hilarious. Yeah, you're probably gonna try to definitively prove that they're clouds, and
Yes.
yeah. So, but I'm open to be convinced. I'm sure, but there's just so many, right? And the real question becomes like, how many observations do we really need that go over the Earth curvature calculator? And of course, I know that your opinion is that well, there's none, right? Because you can invoke the refraction, right? That makes them all work no matter what. So
No,
that's
not no matter what. Like I've said for I don't know 5 years now. Get above the surface, and you can constrain me to something close to 7/6 hour. I can't appeal to extremes of refraction if I'm looking through air that is a decent height above the surface.
1 second. I'm
But
sorry, I
if
was
you
reading something.
doing all these observations really close to the surface, yes, I can invoke extremes of refraction because that exists. Get
Not
away from the surface.
not every time though.
No, not every time, but I mean, um, conditions can exist close to the surface where the curvature of the light can match or exceed the curvature of the Earth, so it will look flat.
Well, the only
I have that excuse to rely on, whereas if you put me up high, I don't.
so I'll tell you what my issue is with it. But first, the whole the surface won't work because of the refraction thing. The issue that I have with that particular thing is that we have long distance, or at least you could call it over the horizon, right? We'll call it over the horizon observations because they don't line up with the Earth curvature calculator unless you invoke refraction. But we have that in hot and in cold temperatures, right? So
Yeah,
we have them in
it's not
both.
about the absolute hotness or absolute coldness. It's about the gradient. So how quickly does it go from very absolute hot to very absolute less hot? It's about the change with respect to the altitude, not about absolute. Is it a hot day or is it a cold day? It's
Right.
about how quickly it changes vertically.
Right, but obviously, so all right, let's narrow it down even more. So if we're talking about a really cold day, right, then the water it would have to have been right after a warm front, right? So the water's warm, but the uh, air is cold, right?
Yep.
That would create a temperature inversion, which would allow
No, that's not an inversion. That's the other way around.
uh, whatever.
Inversions are cold at the surface, warm at the top. Yeah.
I thought it didn't matter. I thought it was just a change in temperature, and it caused the light to bend with the surface of the Earth.
If you have a really cold surface and then the temperature gets hotter as you go up, that's a temperature inversion, and that causes really strong refraction. Because not only have you got the pressure gradient working for you, you've got the temperature gradient working for you as well.
Nice, dude. The open panel is starting to fire off. This is definitely the way to go. Johnny B, welcome to the show. Jim, welcome to the show.
Johnny.
I just want to finish up the point real quick on the refraction thing. So, again, it's just say it's refraction every single time. It's actually, like you just said, it has to be specific, right? So, cold air after a hot day, after a warmer day where the water is warmer, then yes, that can create the conditions for bendy light, we could say. But cold day,
but that bends upwards though. That's an upwards bend. If you got hot surface and colder higher up,
well, I'm not even there yet.
That's the other way. Okay, sorry.
I'm not even there yet, right? I'm just saying that you have to have the fluctuation of temperature, right? It can't just be a straight hot day or a straight cold day. The gradient generally is that the thicker air is at the bottom, right? But like you just said, at what point does it change? You actually have to have a change in the temperature, like pretty drastic, to be able to create an effect of the bendy light. Otherwise, it's just you have a gradient of like 1.0003, right?
That's
For
not the
air,
gradient. That's the absolute index.
right? So that's like the most it can be, right?
No, when you said 1.0003, that's the absolute index of refraction, right? At a certain point, usually at the surface, it's around about that. The gradient, so how much does that value change as you go up? Depends on how much the temperature and the pressure changes as you go up. So you're talking in absolute terms, like a single refractive index. What you need to be talking about is how much that refractive index changes as you go up. And that's what determines how much it bends. And you kind of said, here are the conditions that you need for bendy light. Light bends all the time. We can determine how much and in what direction if we measure the gradient.
Light bends all the time. That's a nice quote, Ruhif.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Snip it out.
Yeah,
Snip it out.
absolutely.
Quote me.
So without getting like too technical with it, basically all I was trying to say is that refraction is invoked every time with all of the over the horizon observations that are close to the surface, all of them, and the conditions are not necessarily right for that every time it's just invoked. So it makes an unfalsifiable position for the globe. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, close to the surface. Yes, it is unfalsifiable. That's why I'm telling you, put me above the surface where I can't appeal to extremes of refraction. Right? Because if I'm close to the surface, yeah, refraction can make it bend at the same rate or even exceed the curvature of the Earth. Don't bother with observations so close to the surface, because we can appeal to strong refraction. That's unfortunate.
You have to remember, Trebling, that Glenn thinks that we take oxygen with us to outer space, and that that ignites things, and that we propel off itself in the rocket itself. So you have to remember that Glenn is insane with this outer space fantasy, and so anything Glenn has to say about anything has to be put into the garbage scow of history, because he says that they take the oxygen with them to outer space, which doesn't exist, and that a rocket can push off itself in the 10 to the negative 17 torr of outer space. So whatever Glenn has to say should be discarded.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
Wouldn't that technically be a poisoning the well fallacy?
Anything he says should be discarded as bunk, because the fact that nothing works on an imaginary globe, because it doesn't exist. Nothing works. The globe is scientifically impossible, but Glenn will tell you that it's scientifically possible when it is not, because your stationary plane is easily observed by walking a football field, and you disappear as you walk away, and you disappear bottom up. That explains what happens above the water. That explains how sunsets work. It's all fine. So whatever Glenn has to say, you ignore it.
I just think it's funny because not to steelman it, I guess, perfectly, because I am going to make fun of it just a little bit, Ruhif, no offense, but the idea that up above the surface, right, if we go like we're on a mountaintop, we're going to shoot over to this other mountain that we imagine is at the exact same like level as us, like height wise. So if we imagine it's also 1,000 feet high and we're 1,000 feet high, that the only way that it would possibly appear to dip even a little bit would be because of a actual physical drop of the surface that it is resting on.
No, you can appeal to upwardly bending light, but then I show that the data we have shows that it must bend downwards.
It's the data, Glenn. It's the data you have. Nobody that I know of says that you can get some refraction that can even bend around the ball. Nobody except for Glenn in Australia says that. Not even Loon McToon says that. You are taking the most extreme position possible on bendy light. And I'm telling you right now, if anybody out there listening believes that we take oxygen to outer space and that we can make something propel off inside of the rocket into 10 to the negative 17 torr, that is the biggest fairy tale. That is even worse than Santa Claus and Mrs. Santa Claus and Rudolph and Mrs. Rudolph and bringing me gifts at 4 a.m. on December 24th, 25th. Glenn, you should be ashamed of yourself, but you are not.
I'm just laughing.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm not
There's-
laughing at you, Jim and Ruhef. I'm actually laughing at Justin Johnson quoting our president.
What do you say?
My butt's been wiped. It's
Okay.
actually a really funny.
Is that a
sound.
legitimate quote?
That's a
It's pretty
legitimate
funny. I like
quote.
Biden.
Legitimate quote from
Okay.
Joe Biden. So,
What I say? So, MC Toon, Jim? Are you saying MC Toon denies that light can bend at the same curvature
As
rate
much
as the Earth?
as you think it
I-
does, he
Hold-
he denies as much as you do. And another thing, Ruhef, I find it interesting that we were on a Discord server, and I know Dogs was to your right on the screen. I mean, to your left on the screen, my right, and you agreed on video to debate me on YouTube Modern Day Debate. And then you got back with me and said, I don't want to debate, cosmology. I just want to debate what I want to debate because I'm not interested in anything else. So last week when I said 3, 5, 6, or 8 kilometers per second with Michelson Morley, I said it twice. You ignored it both times. You didn't want to touch it because
Yes.
you don't want to touch relativity. And you know what's fun? Tomorrow night is my first time on Modern Day Debate YouTube. And guess what? It's open cosmology, whatever the the four of us want to talk about. Glenn, you are a clown and you should be ashamed.
strong words.
So, for possibly the 50th time, I don't know enough about relativity to debate it legitimately.
You haven't
No,
tried.
Hang on,
You
Jim. Hang on,
haven't
Jim.
tried,
Jim.
Glenn.
Hang on, Jim. Okay. Number one, I don't know enough about it to debate it. Number two, I don't think it's all that relevant to the shape or rotation of the Earth. Number three, getting back to McToon, are you suggesting that he denies even the possibility that light can bend at the same curvature rate as the Earth? Does he deny that? Are you claiming that he denies that?
I don't think he's as nutcase as you are.
Is that a yes or a no, Jim?
No, he's
Is
not.
he denying? Okay.
He's not a nutcase as you are.
Was that what answer was that to my
It's
question?
just
Was that
not
a
a
yes? He
nutcase.
denies
It's
it.
not a nutcase as you are, Glenn. Take it for what it's worth,
Okay.
Glenn. I'm not going to play your game with the guy who says relativity is not important when science, much of science, has dealt with it for the last 104 years. But Glenn hasn't even tried. Glenn, 7 months ago, I knew nothing about relativity, and now I can talk about it. Glenn, you haven't asserted yourself, and I'll go this far. Maybe you aren't mentally capable of doing it.
Oh wow.
Okay. Question then. I challenge you here and now, Jim, to a debate on the percentage similarity between percentage DNA similarity between humans and chimps, or a debate on human chromosome 2. And if you reject my offer of debate, it's clearly because you can't understand it and you're not very clever. Clearly that's why.
I don't want to talk about your descendants, Glenn. I'm not going to debate. I'm not going to debate your descendants who you think we came from as far as apes. I'm not going to do that. You think you're so big, whatever, on angles and refraction, and you've spent 4 times at least long doing this than I have, and I can run circles around you when it comes to what physics has talked about for the last 104 years. You don't care. You are either mentally lazy or you're incapable mentally of doing it.
Or I just don't care.
I know you don't care.
I'm going to take a
I know
second
you don't care because you don't have to care.
I'm going to
You don't
steal
have
it
to
from
care.
you, Jim, for a moment and shout out this generous donation from Russell Gregory. My data, Ruhif's proof of the globe. Hilarious.
Yeah, I think it's pretty bulletproof. The theodolite from one mountain to another mountain is pretty bulletproof. Yeah.
Hey, when you turn your theodolite around 360 degrees, does the bubble stay in the center the whole time?
Yeah, I've set it up correctly. Yes.
But so when you use your theodolite, when you turn it 360 degrees, does the bubble stay in the center the whole time?
No.
Can you prove that
That's
to
how
us?
you set it up.
Can you prove it to us?
I'm sitting in my car, but sure.
No. I mean,
set it up.
you can manipulate a theodolite if it goes any more than 300 yards. That's what they're built for. They're not built for 10, 20, 30, 40 miles or kilometers, whatever you are. They are built for 300 meters at the most. And after that, they are totally useless. And if you're saying that your bubble stays centered 360 degrees around, I want to see it. Plus, you are saying theodolites can do something they cannot do. They are built to do 300 yards at a time, and that is it. Glenn, you are so disingenuous. You border on lying through your teeth. And you know what? You do not care. That's the sad thing about you. You don't care, Glenn. Glenn, you don't care.
Jim. Okay. Now, if theodolites don't work for more than 300 meters, why were they used to survey and map out your country?
Our country, and using what?
Yes.
Spherical excess?
Theodolites. They just use theodolites.
If you're talking
1895
to 1914, that was used by the Treasury Department, U.S. government, to change from up until about 1860, the fact that we saw everything on a stationary plane. Even Jefferson, under his administration, even did surveying, and it came out flat and stationary. And it was after 1860 to 1910 that the government decided to change and go to spherical excess. And 1895 to 1914 is when they put it, and it was a government-funded Treasury Department. Do you understand what government-funded Treasury Department means, Glenn? They do what the government wants them to do. Glenn, you border on being an absolute fool. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. Glenn, you look in the mirror and you should say fool on top of your forehead, but you don't do it. You are so off in everything you think about, and that includes virology. It's not even funny. You should be ashamed You should be ashamed of yourself that you are that wrong
just
about
hurry
your
up
life.
and finish, Jim. Hurry up and finish.
With all due
You
respect,
should be so ashamed,
Jim,
that you are
with all
so
due
wrong
respect,
about your life.
You do monologue quite a bit, but it is
Yeah,
good.
come on, Jim.
It is good monologue.
He is damaging people's brains who listen to him and their souls.
Okay.
Johnny,
Anyway, thanks, Jim. The question was, which you didn't answer, did they use theodolites over much, much longer distances than 300 meters to map out your country? Yes or no?
Did they map out our country correctly?
Johnny B.
No.
Yes.
Hold on.
Did
seriously.
they match out our
Johnny
country
B.
correctly?
Seriously though, Johnny B, you are your sound is not connected. You're gonna have to jump off and jump back in so that you connect, because nobody can hear you. He's been trying to talk for a while.
Do we want to hear Johnny B? Okay. I very much doubt Johnny B is sober, and I haven't even heard him speak today.
I'm just letting you know, Johnny, your sound's not working, so you're gonna have to jump out and jump back in if you want to connect. All right, sorry guys. I know we were having a very dynamic back and forth. What was the question exactly? I'm lost in the sauce right now.
Did they map out the United States using theodolites over very long distances? The answer is yes.
1895 to 1914, the Treasury Department, government of the United States of America, started changing from stationary planar surveying to curvature or geodetic surveying, because we wanted to sell people on the ball. Glenn, if you can't understand, I'm going to say this, Glenn.
Earthcaster's killing it.
You're totally worthless to talk with. Do you know that?
Earthcaster.
Okay. Thanks, Jim.
I'm going to say this. Earthcaster in the comments is killing it if this is true. I haven't even checked this. Why does globe on Google Map take 560 degrees to spin fully around?
What?
If
What
that's
does he
true,
mean? What?
the claim is, and I haven't checked this, right? So if it's not true, then whatever.
Hmm.
But somebody can check this right now. Actually, just go on Google Earth, right? Go on the globe, spin it around. The claim is that it takes 560 degrees to spin around.
No.
Hey,
Well,
Glenn,
that's not circle's got to be 360.
hey,
So,
Glenn, when you look at Wikipedia, Google, NASA, and Chat GPT, do you disagree with anything they say?
Yeah. Yep.
Like what?
Well, I know ChatGPT was convinced one day the Earth was flat. Wikipedia gets things wrong here and there. People rely on Wikipedia for definitions, and I'm like, no, it's silly.
Yeah, because last week you literally quoted Google, Wikipedia, and then I said, "Are you quoting Google, Wikipedia?" And you said, "No, this is a NASA article." Thanks for playing, Glenn.
Okay. Can you refresh my memory about that?
No, it's not worth it because you don't have much of one.
Okay.
You damage people's brains and their souls, Glenn, and you don't care. You do it in virology and you do it in cosmology and who knows where else. And you don't care. And you don't care.
This is fun.
You just don't care, man.
well, you have to ask him a question or something. I don't think he's going to respond.
It's okay. It's cool. He's so far off from the truth it ain't even funny, man.
Okay.
Do what, Earthcaster? He just said do it. Do what?
Yeah, I don't know how I don't even know what he's doing. Like, is he just rotating it, and how is he counting the degrees? I don't know.
Oh, obviously he's talking about the Google Earth. I'm stupid. Oh, geez. You know what? I think I have it on my phone right now. Let's check it out. We'll do a live test right now. Let's get it out here. Okay. All right. So how do I know the degrees, though?
Yeah, I don't know.
How would I know the degrees, dude? I'm going to start over here, like at the equator.
I go to Subway.
See, I do not know how I would do this. This is not working the way I thought it would. Dude. Yeah, someone's going to have to walk me through that live on the spot. They're probably going to show me. I'm going to feel dumb about it, but it is what it is. You know, we're doing it live, so hands are
Fuck
tied.
it, we're doing it live.
All right.
So anyway, Jim, when I said we have mapped the United States, we have mapped the United States using theodolites over long distances, what was your response?
Treasury Department, U.S. government, changing from planar surveying that even the Jefferson administration said they did. And starting in 1860, specifically to about 1910, they went from planar surveying to geodetic surveying to make sure that they could brainwash the people that they lived on a ball. And I love how you just repeat the fact that you don't care that it was government paid for, as if you love your government so much. When the government tells you to do something in your arm, you say, how many times I'll roll my sleeve up and I'll do it. And it's just, I'm telling you, Glenn, there's going to come a time when many of us are just going to ignore you because you are so wrong.
Okay. Do you expect a private entity, a non-government entity, to do the surveying work?
Do you expect a government identity to give us the truth? Yes or no?
Most of the time, yes.
Great. That's all I need to know, Glenn. Thanks for playing.
Okay.
Thanks for
Cool.
Thanks for playing, Glenn.
You seem a bit upset this morning, Jim.
No, I am excited. I just got back from the beach, looking at a beautiful sunset, looking at Chicago from 38 miles away, and I feel absolutely. I can't tell you how excited I am to be able to get on a modern day debate YouTube and with Flatzoid against two Globers tomorrow night. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I know exactly how I'm going to approach it, and I love it. And I love the fact that you ran away from ours. Thank you. Thanks for playing, Glenn. Thanks for playing, Glenn. You ran
Jim,
away from ours because you couldn't talk about cosmology.
Okay, Jim, if you're going to keep interrupting, I'm not going to be here. Okay,
cool.
So Flatzoid and you. Flatzoid and you versus
my guest,
who?
Jim.
Dogs Are Gods.
No, Dogs Are Gods are next Thursday on APOC's one-on-one on his server, taken to Zoom and recorded onto YouTube. That's next Thursday.
Okay, so Flatzoid and you versus who?
I don't know. I don't know the two guys. I don't really care.
Okay, all right.
Average Globers.
Fuck! Who was on the other day? Whitsett and Karen B versus Ozian and Bitter.
Ozian was such a clown. He is so stupid.
I agree, Jim. I agree with you.
He might be more stupid than you, Glenn.
Possibly.
I think that
I thought he was terrible.
I think Ruhif would dunk all over Ozian. Personal opinion.
Yeah. I thought his drone footage was rubbish.
Yeah, on Ozian wanted to debate me on Modern Day Debate YouTube. We set it up, and it was between he confirmed May 20th after 5 p.m. anytime with James, for Modern Day Debate. I confirmed it, and he stepped away in 3 or 4 days. He didn't want to debate me. We had it all lined up for May 20th after 5 p.m. and James was going to get hold of me after the 14th to confirm it the exact same date, and Ozian ran away. I'm telling you guys.
Scared of you, Jim.
I'm telling you guys something. None of you live in reality on the globe side. The reason is the globe had never existed. It is pagan sun worship from Hermes Trismegistus that Copernicus on the revolution of the heavenly spheres gave homage to, that Newton gave homage to in the Emerald Tablet. And in the 1970s, they threw that out and went with the great attractor black hole, that the whole universe goes around. So they left the sun pagan worship and went to a black hole, pagan worship, and they called it the great attractor. And now the whole universe revolves around it. Guys, you people are so nuts. It isn't funny.
All right, Jim.
Okay, Jim.
I've now been requested by one of my favorite audience members to put you on notice, man. You got to stop with the character attacking. It's a respectful debate format. So
okay.
Your passion is always appreciated, and there are people who do enjoy your monologues and rants. I'm one of them, but I just wanted to let you know that that is how some people in the audience are feeling. So you've been warned. Yeah, with that being said, it's like 11:30, going like an hour and a half. Let's see where else we can take this conversation, guys. Is there anything like actually new to talk about, or is it still the same globe proofs to deal with?
Well, it's the same unrebutted globe proofs, I guess.
You have no globe proofs because you don't have a globe. Your globe is scientifically impossible. Theia, Theia, 4.5 billion years ago with a B, hit it so hard, a big asteroid, small planet, that it tilted at 23.4 degrees, that you can vacation in Florida. It became the moon and part was absorbed in the earth. Cool story, bro.
Okay. Did I email you the other day, Tribune? I think I did. And the question was, so Whitsett puts up that the ground or the water ramps up to eye level, and the sky sort of ramps down to the convergence point.
Right.
All right. And he goes, things above eye level will converge down. Things below eye level will converge up.
That's true.
Cool. So if there is a point that is of a lower elevation, if there's a point of a higher elevation than your high level, can it ever appear below eye level?
One more
So
time.
something above eye level, which has a higher elevation on a flat Earth, can it appear below that convergence point?
Yes.
Why?
Well,
I mean, I know one answer, which is upwardly bending light, but I want to hear yours. Yeah.
one answer is upwardly bending light. Well, I guess another. Let me think about it. So now I'm thinking about the geometry of it. If I was like raised up, well, if you're raised up, then your field of view is a little bit different, and then you're raised up above the object. So at completely eye level, can something appear below eye level due to refraction? Yeah, upwardly bending light, as you referred to it as. Yes. I don't think that there's another reason why that would happen right off the top of my head.
Excellent. Think about that. Think about that. Because when you're on two mountains, the light bends downwards. That takes away your excuse.
Well, you just say that the light bends downwards, right? Where's the data for that?
Oh, I'm happy to show you. Yeah.
Show me the numbers.
Yeah.
Show me.
Oh,
But then,
okay.
but then you're gonna have to show me that the numbers aren't like that they're not just set over a ball or anything like that. Yeah, actually show me the actual gradient without assumptions, right?
Yes. Yep. Without any assumptions on the shape of the Earth, you're just measuring the vertical gradient going up. So it doesn't care whether it's curved or flat. That's just the measurable vertical gradient. And once you're above a certain, about 100 meters, then it bends downwards. And it's approximately a gradient that equates to 7/6R.
God.
And
I like how you just laugh at data.
And they take oxygen to the vacuum of outer space 10⁻17 torr, which ignites so they can push themselves forward off of nothing because they put it together in the rocket. The rocket can push off of nothing, and they take their oxygen with them. Cool story. You can't do that anywhere here terrestrially on Earth, but you can do it in outer space. Cool story, Glenn.
Okay. Thanks, Jim.
Cool story.
Thanks, Jim.
Oh my God. This is so free entertainment, troubling. It ain't funny, man. Such free entertainment. This is better than going to see Maverick, Tom Cruise, last summer. This is better than that, man.
so
That cost me $6.
sort of progress the conversation, right? So let's just say we have your observation again. We have the two people at 1,000 feet looking over at each other with theodolites. You would claim that the light has to be bending downward because of the gradient, right? It has to be thicker below. Light always bends down into the thicker medium, and so there you go.
Yep.
Well, there is an issue with that, right? So again, if we're talking about a level surface, to say that there is that there's going to be a change, right, between an exaggerant change between the two people would be kind of ridiculous, right? Wouldn't there be just like kind of the same? It's like a layer of. There's no reason for the area between the mountains to be vastly different, right?
Right, but I think you're talking about a gradient going that way. So at point A, there's some refractive index, and point B, there's either a higher or lower refractive index.
Which way are we
right,
looking?
That's not how it works.
But which way are we looking?
We're looking that way.
Right.
We're looking horizontally. The gradient is vertical. And the gradient's vertical all along there, right? All along that path, we have a vertical gradient, right? When you said we're looking through a layer, that's not, the atmosphere is treated as a continuous gradient. So there's not like discrete layers where this layer that's 5 meters thick has this density, and then you go another 5, and then there's like a hard boundary between the next layer. It's treated as a continuous gradient, right? So you're shooting through.
But the whole point of
you're shooting.
But again, the whole point of the higher elevations was that there wouldn't be the refraction, right? It's not going to be.
No.
There's not going to be more refraction up higher. There's going to be significantly less, right? That's why we're raising our elevation, right?
The point of getting above a decent height above the surface is that the refractive gradient is predictable. Not that there's no refraction. It's a predictable gradient above the surface.
Yeah, but it's always a yeah, but We just have to go back to how you generated the actual the amount of change, right? The actual, because you're saying, oh, here's the data. The data means that it changes this much. I have actually no evidence that the data actually means that it changes that much. That's just what is claimed. I have not seen, and granted, this is an argument of, you could say this is an argument of incredulity, right? Because just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean that it's not out there. But it's not something that I see anybody talking about in this. Is like, well, here's the experiments that actually prove out the refractive gradient through air that is claimed. We've seen it through water with the sugar. I've never ever seen it with the air, and the air has a significantly less refractive index than water, and it's sugar water at that. So I just I'm skeptical.
Okay, I can talk you through where the data comes from, how it's transformed into refractive indices. Let's do that. So that they send up weather balloons like all around the country, hundreds of stations around the country. They do it to measure the atmosphere at the plane's height, right? That's why they do it. But what they do is they release these balloons and they take measurements every couple of seconds as they go up. All right. So you've got all these samples of atmosphere every couple of seconds or whatever. So you might have a sample of atmosphere at, say, 100 meters above the surface, where it takes the temperature, pressure, and humidity. And then you might have the next one at 200 meters, right? So you have these 2 points where you measure the temperature, pressure, and humidity at both points. You can take the temperature, pressure, and humidity and convert it into a refractive index. And there's a paper called SIDOR, refractive properties of light at blue to near infrared or something. And that paper takes previous papers where they've tried to empirically derive a formula for the refractive index, which is already quite accurate, but he takes all these papers from previous decades and even a century to work out a highly, highly accurate formula for the refractive index of air, given its temperature, pressure, humidity, CO2 content, wavelength. All those things, you can work out an incredibly accurate refractive index, right? So if we send a balloon up and take these temperature, pressure, and humidity readings, we can get the refractive index at 2 points in the atmosphere. If we know the refractive index here and up here, we know what the gradient is. It's just the change over that height, right? So we're measuring the refractive index gradient in the atmosphere.
And what's the change from what to what?
So rephrase that.
What's the change from what to what? But basically on the surface,
I said rephrase that, and you literally verbatim said the same words, Jim.
On the surface, it's 1.003, and then it can go up. Diamond is 2.417. So what is the refractive index that it changes from what to what?
Okay, so at the surface, 1.000, approximately 300 thereabouts.
Cool.
And goes to obviously 1 at the top of the atmosphere.
It goes from what to what?
1.0003 to 1, which is the vacuum at the top, right?
So it. Let me get this right. It goes from 1.0003, and we lose the 0.0003 to 1. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Cool. That is so cool, man.
Okay. Anyway, the typical change per kilometer of our atmosphere is negative 0.000022.
Hey, pretty soon.
Right, that's the typical gradient.
Pretty soon we're going to get into Planck's constant. Good job, Glenn. Pretty good. Which you have no idea what it is, so that's cool.
I do, but anyway, not relevant.
Okay.
So anyway, that's the typical gradient is minus 0.000022.
So if I give you that the calculations are correct, right? Because you did admit that they basically they're trying to predict it, right? That's not really something that's measured. It's something that they're trying to predict based off of it is not based off of nothing. It is an educated guess, right? They are working off of something, but they are.
It's a typical gradient. I don't know what you mean by prediction. Like they're not making a prediction. It's just telling you what the typical gradient is. by measurements. Yeah.
So I'm not saying that the data for the measurements of the humidity, the things that are measured, right? That's the humidity.
Yep.
That is the temperature. Maybe even the like content of the air. I don't know what all they're measuring up there. Probably a lot.
Yep.
You have that, and then based on that, you have a prediction of what you expect the light to do as it passes through that.
No, like I said, there's that paper, Siddle 1996. These are empirically derived. It's not a prediction. They're empirically derived formulas.
Well, if I give you that, and maybe they are, right? I haven't looked at them myself. So let's assume that they are. We get past that, right? Then we're to the point of we have to know, like Jim said, the theodolite. Well, I'm not going to go back to the theodolites not being accurate over 300, whatever the heck he said, because I don't know that for sure. But I will say that how do we know 100% that you didn't alter or mess with the theodolite to give you, because it's not hard, right? You could bump it barely anything and get a wrong measurement, right? So it's obviously very
as soon as you make that accusation, or not accusation, as soon as you make that excuse, you have actually taken on the burden to go and do it yourself.
Well, I tell you what, you prove your globe, and then I'll go do the theodolite. How does that sound?
I think that's fair.
Okay.
I think that's a fair point.
Hey, I love Glenn. I tell you, people who are listening, you got to really appreciate the level of disingenuous that you're witnessing with Glenn. He talks about the rating at the refractive index at the surface being 1.0000 whatever 3, how many zeros, and we go all the way up till we get into the vacuum of outer space, and it changes from 1.00003 whatever, and we just throw off the 0 and the 3 at the end, and that's what it is. And then he comes up with per whatever 0.0000. That reminds me of Pound Repka when they did the red shift blue shift at Harvard's Jefferson Tower, and the difference over 22.5 meters, photons up, photons down, red shift blue shift was 0.00000736 meters per second. Cool story, guys. Cool story.
All right, I'm just going to drive for a minute and try and get a park where I've got to pick up my daughter shortly.
Oh, messing with my phone
Okay,
over here. Sorry, guys.
Oh, yeah, if my phone falls off, that's oh, there we go. Oh, fuck. There we go. All right, hang on.
What do we got?
Probably
Some
won't
dead
fall off
time
there.
all of a sudden? Everybody wants to stop talking
I can
as
still
soon as
talk.
I check my phone.
I can still talk. I'll fill in your dead time.
No, we're all good.
What are you walking across the road? Come on. Here we go.
It's all good, man. You don't have to narrate your.
Hey, Glenn, what's the stop sign say on the right? Is your stop sign 8-sided or 6 or 4 or 10 in Australia?
Get my.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
He
Oh
might be out of here.
Goodness,
Oh well.
gracious, man.
It is what it is. It's all good.
I'm here.
Oh, he's here.
I'm here, but I can't figure out how to get back to normal Zoom. Some button was pushed. I will figure that out in a minute when I actually pull up. But yeah, I'm here. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
Yeah, sure. I was gonna
Oh, there we
say,
go. I'm back.
I was gonna ask you about Jay
There we go.
Tolan's observation. I know that you wanted the higher up the better, right? So then it's like 35,000 feet high. Again, courtesy of our Earthcaster there. 35,000 feet high. We have 1,000-mile observation claimed. Have you tackled this one yet? Have you shown this to be
This is
clouds?
the Hudson Bay. Hudson Bay, yes, that was 600 miles though. I'm not sure of the 1,000 miles. Which observation are you talking about? Is it like looking north to Hudson Bay?
It said, Earthcaster, if you're still there, feel free to name the observation so that we can see if Ruhif has already strawmanned or begged the question the way out of it.
No, actually, if it's north to Hudson Bay, I showed he was fairly dishonest, I have to say.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, man. Well, then, I guess you could do it yourself if you're going to make that claim.
I don't know. I did do it myself. I analyzed it myself.
Oh, damn.
I'm not saying he was wrong, like his photo was not fake or anything, but his analysis, where he put certain marks on the photo, was dishonest.
Oh no, not our boy Jay Tolan. I'm sure he would never lie
Yeah.
though. So must just be some sort of misunderstanding if it is like that. Um,
Yeah.
I would actually like to know specifically which observation he was talking about, but I don't think
Yeah.
he is in here at the moment. But yeah, there was one
I'm
that
going to
was
do
600 as well.
one-handed reverse park,
Skill.
reverse parallel park, one-handed.
While on a podcast.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to hit the curb. Shit. He's parked too close. There you go. Hang on. Try that again.
Just let you guys know, we got about 15 minutes left in us before we do call the show. Yeah, I'm looking at my chat right now.
There we go. All right.
No, you just got to click the link.
There we go.
I think I think Glenn is perfect for this begging the question. Glenn would say we know it's a globe because it's a globe. I think that suits Glenn just perfect. That's the perfect begging the question that Glenn should say the next time. We know it's a globe because it's a globe.
I would say we know it's a globe because the measurements match a globe and
Oh,
don't match flat Earth.
Sure it does. Sure it does.
Okay, then I've probably asked you this a dozen times before, Jim. If we're at if we're on top of a mountain at 1,000 meters,
and you
another mountain at 1,000 meters,
go ahead.
what angle, right? I'm at the top of a mountain at 1,000 meters, looking across to another mountain, same elevation, 1,000 meters, and it's 30 kilometers across. What angle will I measure?
Angles and refraction, and he could care less about relativity, and he could care less about the absurdity of taking oxygen to outer space. They take their own oxygen out. Glenn, I'm not going to answer anything
How far is the mountain?
Okay.
30 kilometers, 40 kilometers, whatever you like. Just it's more an exercise to do the geometry.
Oh, cool, man.
Do the geometry, incorporate whatever your refraction idea is, and
Cool.
I think that obviously I'd have to go and like download Paint, right, and then be able to probably show something like that. But again, I think that the further out it gets, the more it can drop, right? And the reason why I think that is, again, I'll just take the reverse of that. I have a house that's down the street, and I know that I'm only like 5'6", 5'7", so I can look across and I can see a roof that's like right at eye level, and it's
is it though?
I mean, that's what
is it at eye level?
It's actually seems
I thought
like
roofs.
So the
roofs are usually above eye level, aren't they?
Exactly. So you're starting to get the point here. So exactly.
Yes.
So a roof would literally, if I walk up to it, right, it's going to be higher, right? Obviously. So, but when I'm far back, like when I'm down the street from it, I can look out and I can actually see the whole entire roof, the whole top part of it, and it's like right there, like eye level. So
does it go below eye level?
Well, I'm sure if I keep going back far enough, it would appear to be a tiny little dot, on the horizon, and then yes, it would.
You're saying it would go below eye level?
Yeah.
Why?
On the horizon? Absolutely.
Perspective and angular resolution. That's why it would.
Okay, so let's ask the opposite question. I'm looking at the floor mat, like the doormat of the house, all right? It's below eye level. If it goes off in the distance, it approaches eye level, right? It ramps up to eye level, correct?
Yeah.
If you move away from something, it ramps up to eye level.
Yep.
I'm gonna get Glenn on the record here. You move away from something. In other words, it gets further away from you on a level plane, right? If it moves away from you on a level plane, it gets higher in your line of sight.
Something below eye level, yeah.
It should start to disappear, get smaller.
It doesn't disappear.
It will get smaller, and it will also angular resolution will disappear bottom up. Am I wrong?
Doesn't you're wrong. It doesn't disappear.
Oh my God.
It doesn't disappear.
Hey, Glenn, in Australia, I'm sure you may not call them football fields. You may call them soccer fields or whatever. Go find a nice level soccer field, football field, put some sort of a camera at about 5-6 inches off the ground on a 2x4, turn the video, make sure it's centered, and turn the video on, and then go walk about 80 yards and see if you don't get smaller and disappear bottom up. Just do that for me.
Okay, how do we know the football field is flat?
Make sure the football field is flat when you do it. Don't say
Right.
how do I
How
make
do
sure?
we do that?
You make sure it's flat.
How?
Because you are a 42, 40, 38-year-old guy, you make sure it's flat because you're intelligent enough, I would hope, to
How?
know if it's flat or not. So find a
Yeah, how?
flat field and then do that experiment. I did it about 2 Saturdays ago. It's on my YouTube channel. And I walked away about 60, 70 yards and I disappeared bottom up and I got smaller. And when these football fields open up in about 3 or 4 weeks for football practice, I have a 120-yard field, 100 for the football field, and then 10 for each end zone. And I'm going to walk 120 yards and I'm going to disappear. I'm going to get smaller and disappear bottom up. Glenn, that is how angular resolution works on a stationary flat plane.
I'll do one better too.
Okay, how did Jim declare that the football field was flat?
Oh my God.
How did you work it out, Jim?
Oh my God. I tell you what.
Okay,
I
so
tell you what.
here's one that we know is
I
flat. We literally know this one's flat. My countertop, I did this one like my first 2 months into the TikTok game. So I take a Burger King cup, right? And this video's still up and out there. And you just have it on the back of the counter. And I did it both ways. I slid it up and I slid it back so you could see what would happen from the perspective of an observer that's on the ground, which was slightly above the counter, which I filmed all of this, of course. I filmed just the observation at first to bait, and then when somebody accused me of having the camera below the counter, I then showed the video of me making the video, which had it clearly above the counter. But what ends up happening is really interesting. There's a red line on the bottom of the Burger King cup, but not all the way at the bottom. And in fact, it's actually, this is a good example, right? I should have brought this one up earlier when you said an example of something higher than eye level going below. Because this red line was definitely higher than the camera, right? The top of the red line is 100% higher than the camera lens. But when you slide it back, you can actually see the effect of the red line merging into the reflection of the counter and disappearing completely, as of course the top of the cup drops as well, but not below the camera, or not below the level of the camera, just because it doesn't go back far enough. But I would venture to say that if I extended that countertop out further, that I could get that effect where the whole cup actually disappears like that. The only rebuttal that I've had to that so far, the only rebuttal that I've had is that I didn't actually put a level to my countertop. So I guess my countertop could not be level, but that'd be pretty wild.
Yeah, I know Troubling likes to buy countertops that are curved. Good job, Troubling.
Send me that video, Troubling.
So Glenn, did you say, what did you say before I said things get smaller in distance and disappear bottom up? Did you say they disappear top down? Is that what you said?
No.
What did you say?
Disappear. Angular resolution.
What did you say disappeared? What did you say disappeared? I missed that.
Don't know. I don't think they disappear.
When
they get unresolvable.
When things move away, they get smaller or they get bigger.
Yep. Smaller.
Okay.
Angular size. Yep.
And in your opinion, nothing disappears.
Correct. Not due to angular resolution, right? They just get unresolvable.
Cool.
Right?
Cool, man.
A few minutes ago, Troubling, we're talking about the roof, right? As you get further away from this house, it approaches eye level.
Yes.
And then we talked about the doormat as we get further away from that. What does it do? Does it approach eye level?
The doormat disappears.
It does approach eye level, but it doesn't get to eye level.
Yep. Okay. Why is that different to the roof? Approaching eye level, but not going below?
That's a good one. Trying to send you this video,
yes.
so I'm not firing on all cylinders. So the reason why it happens with the sky and not the ground, not the other way around, is because of where the actual literal horizon would be has to physically be below your eye level because of where you're standing. So that's why, because of where you're at, literally, it has to be slightly below. If it was reverse, like for some reason, if we were like upside down, then the opposite would be true.
Really? If you think you're physically upside down, then the horizon will be below your upside down eye level.
Well, I guess I should say if the ground were upside down, like wherever the actual physical obstruction is going to be, wherever that is on your eye, that's where the horizon slightly has to be. So if the ground was above us instead of below us, then the horizon would literally be slightly above our eye level, not slightly below. But instead, it's slightly below because of the way it is in reality.
But when you say it would be below your eye level, does that mean if you're upside down, it is below your eye level, so that an observer the right way up would say that it is above his eye level? Like, are you saying it's
perspective based?
It's an illusion, basically.
Yeah, it is obviously based on your perspective, is because you have a completely different field of view. So, and it is based on the physical obstruction part. So the ground is the physical obstruction part of the horizon, right? If that is below you, then the horizon will literally be slightly below your eye level. But if the ground was a ceiling, instead, then the ceiling would be slightly, that merging point would be slightly above your eye level. So again, it's just perspective based. So yeah, what you said before, if it was like reversed, then yeah, they would see it differently.
Hang on. Hang on. Let's go to a theodolite, right? The theodolite works by pointing the telescope at the horizon. Okay. If I'm standing the right way up, right, and looking through the theodolite, it's pointing at the horizon and it's below eye level. If I turn myself upside down and look through the same telescope,
it's going to be above your eye level, isn't it?
Yeah, because I'm upside down.
Right.
But the horizon is in fact below eye level.
You flipped upside down. It's literally above your eye level to your perspective.
I know, but I haven't changed the angle that the theodolite's pointing. So in reality, it is pointing down.
So again, I agree with you 100%. I just don't think that you understand what that means. That agrees with what I just said.
You're kind of saying it's something to do with the observer.
I'm saying that the line, the line isn't going to change, right? But the line's position to the observer is going to change. So if you're upside down to the theodolite, the horizon is still going to be slightly below that line, literally in physicality, right? So if I'm looking at it right side up, it's going to be below that line.
Yeah,
if you're upside down,
can we use gravity for a minute?
It's going to sure.
Can we just use use gravity for a minute?
It's the only way he'll understand
that line. No, I'm just trying to give him an absolute sort of reference.
Sure.
Like that line will be in the direction of gravity on that side. Yeah? Or regardless of whether you're upside down or not. Okay. Yes. Cool. So in reality, it is below eye level.
Yes, because the ground is below our eyes. Yes.
Yeah. So then we go back to the original question. If something is above your eye level on a plane, how does it appear below eye level? Because when we would agree that the doormat approaches eye level as well.
I'm glad you asked.
That the same thing applies. Yeah.
I'm glad, because the actual ground, now that we've gotten to the absolute reference frame, right, that the horizon actually is below the eye level, right? Things drop to the horizon, which is below your eye level. That's it.
But why is it below eye level? Why below? Like we agree that the doormat will approach eye level.
Yeah, but it doesn't get quite to it.
Is that eye level?
Because the ground is physically
I
below
agree.
you. It's just because the ground is physically below you. It's just a function of it being literally physically below you. It can't rise.
And the roof is physically above me. The roof is up here. The doormat's down here. They both approach eye level. Neither of them touch it.
The difference is that the roof is not... Okay, so the roof is on top of a house that's on the ground, and everything's merging down to the horizon, right? It's not that the horizon is is something that never gets approached, right, from either side. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that things merge to the physical thing, but the physical thing, that physical line, is below your eye level because the ground is that physical thing, and the
Why?
ground is below your eye level. I'm just trying to make it as
Right.
simple
Then
as I can, but I'm making
I
it
know,
redundant.
but then I say again, the doormat approaches eye level, right? Gets closer and closer and closer and closer to eye level, right? It approaches eye level. Same thing happens with the roof. That's eye level. Horizon's below it, measurably below it.
If I can clarify something, we have a doormat in front of a house that is on the ground, and we're on a flat stationary plane, and we start walking away from that house. The roof is above us, the doormat is on the ground, and when we walk away, whether it's 100 yards, 200 yards, 300 yards, turn around on a stationary plane, that we can still see the doormat.
You won't be able to resolve it probably, but it's still there. The light from the doormat
Yes, it's still
Right.
there, Glenn, because it didn't disappear, but you're
Agreed.
saying we can still see it. Is that right?
I'm saying it's probably not resolvable. It doesn't disappear.
I didn't say it disappeared as far as a
It did
doormat. It
previously.
disappears from view.
Again, it doesn't disappear. You just
It
can't resolve it.
disappears from
It
view.
doesn't disappear.
Okay, Glenn, go find your soccer field, your football field, whatever you call it. You, a grown man, can judge if it's flat or not, and
Oh, is that how it's done?
and
Do you
walk
eyeball
away,
it, Jim?
and walk away,
Just eyeballing it.
walk
Top
away,
strategy.
and see if you don't get smaller and you don't disappear bottom up. Just do it.
Okay. Again, how did you determine that the football field was flat?
Great, because I'm a grown individual and I
Okay.
will not lie on a demonstration like that. Maybe you
Okay.
will, but I will not. So why don't you go find a flat soccer or football field and we'll compare videos? Why don't you do that?
Okay, cool. My daughter's about to come out, so if I disappear quickly, that will be it. So, yeah, it sounds like you just eyeballed the football field and going, "Oh, that's looks
No,
flat to
I
me."
did not eyeball the football field, Glenn.
Okay. How
You
did
go
you
find,
measure the
Glenn,
football field to be
you
flat?
go find what you consider a flat
That's-
soccer or football field, and we'll come back on here sometime and share screens. Both of us, your experience, my experience, we'll comment on it, and we'll let the audience judge. Will you do that? I already have one.
I'll do it as soon as you tell me how you determined that. Oh, there we go.
And guess
soon
what
as you
else,
determined
Glenn?
how it
And
was
guess what
flat.
else,
I
Glenn?
sent the video.
I have another football field
Yeah.
that I'm going to use as well. So I'm
Oh,
going to
sorry.
have two videos for you, and I'm going to let you judge. How's that sound?
Oops. Super.
Rufus,
right.
I did send you that video of the countertop observation, and that I think will put this whole conversation to rest. I feel if we have an observation of it working over a flat surface, then we can just agree that it works over a flat surface.
It does.
Yeah. Hang on. Here we go. Cool.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. Oh, you talk about the
Oh my God.
direct measurement of visual curvature of space, can't we?
Oh
I wasn't talking about that specifically. No, I was talking about the countertop observation. But yeah, the direct measurement of curved visual space. I think that would directly play into that. Yeah, but it would be interesting to see. That would actually be interesting to see how that plays in because the countertop is like what I would consider near space, but maybe because my camera is so small, it considers it far space. I don't know. I wanted to get an even smaller camera to see if I could do it that way, but they're freaking hard to find, like micro cameras.
Like a GoPro. Just your phone camera.
I wanted like
It's gonna be a little bit wide angle.
So I was trying to get one for my countertop to be a distance that was going to be like really worthwhile. I would need a camera lens that is no more than like 2 millimeters.
I think some of the earlier iPhones would have approximately like a 2 millimeter diameter lens, right?
Right. Like very, very
I think
small.
some of the earlier iPhones, yeah. Yeah, camera phones are about 3 or 4 millimeters, I think.
Yeah. That was
Oh,
one of the
but,
struggles that
yeah.
I was realizing is that when I was visualizing it, I was like, man, if we have just a regular camera lens, then what's the difference than being a giant freaking eyeball on the surface of the earth? I mean, obviously that wouldn't see the same as like our tiny little eyes with a little bit of distance between us and the ground. How that would
Yeah.
look.
Oh, there's like, have you seen Mitchell from Australia's coin trick disappearing on the flat table? That was pretty bad, pretty bad from him. He basically had the camera very, very slightly below eye level and very slightly angled up, such that when he zoomed in, the physical lens extends out and becomes above the table. It was so bad.
You're going to like how I
Yeah.
did that.
Anyway,
You're going to like how I did that observation. The camera is above the table and angled slightly down, so it's as
yep.
much as how it would be in the real world as I could figure.
Hey,
Yeah.
Glenn, it's July 21st. How about we get together on August 4th with Troubling here, or August 7th on his open panel on Monday, and I'll show you two videos of walking away on a football or a flat surface football field. I'll take a still or a video picture of it from, just walking there, so you can see that it's, basically flat and everything's fine. And so I'll bring you two videos. You bring me at least one, and we'll show them off here on August the 4th, 2 weeks from tonight, or August 7th, 2 weeks from Monday night. What do you say?
I would say that you used the words basically flat. How did you determine that it was flat?
You know what's going to be fun, Glenn, is when I show you the video from far off and then walking up to it, you're going to see that it's flat. So, Glenn, it's okay, guy. Play with words, do all those things, but and do me a favor, don't put your camera up at 3 or 4 feet high and then walk the 100 yards or 75 yards. Put it down to scale 4, 5, 6 inches above the ground, above the grass, and then do your walking away and then come back. And you know what, Glenn? You do the same thing. You take some video far off as you walk into the where you're going to have it done, so we can determine whether it's flat or not. So, Glenn, let's just be grown-ups and let's just do this and let's show it to everybody 2 weeks from tonight or 2 weeks from Monday night. What do you say?
As soon as you show me how you've shown that field is flat, we can do it.
You get a video of what you consider flat, and then we'll judge and we'll let the
I don't
audience
think
judge.
football fields are
So
flat.
you go get one. You go get one and do it as well. How's that sound?
I don't think football fields are flat.
Football fields are flat, Glenn, unless you have these
Are they?
fields.
How did you know that?
Unless you have these fields going sideline to sideline for drainage purposes, but not of them all made like that. And I had a guy in 24/7 Discord. His last name is Plegman, Plegmann. He played in the NFL for 3 years. He went to Texas Christian University in Fort Worth, Texas, and he said he remembers running onto fields that were, slanted and running upfield for drainage purposes. But not all of them are like that. And in the NFL, they weren't like that. So, Glenn, be a big boy, be a grown man, go find a flat surface, which you think is flat, and then show it to us 2 weeks from today or 2 weeks from Wednesday, 2 weeks from Monday, and we'll all judge for ourselves. Can you do that, Glenn?
Okay, Mr. Plegman.
Plegman. His last name is Plegman.
I have just started speaking.
His last name
Whatever
is
his
Plegman.
name, I don't care, Jim. I don't care. I'm speaking. All right. Whatever his name is, he has eyeballed the football field. Did he measure it to be flat?
Glenn, I tell you what, I'm not going to play words with you in these word games. You go find what you consider a flat soccer or football field. I'll bring what I consider two of them. I will take distance shots of them as I walk in with the video. You can determine whether I'm telling the truth. I'll determine whether you're telling the truth. Just bring what you got. Stop playing these word games and just bring what you got 2 weeks from tomorrow or 2 weeks from Monday on Troubling Show. Will you do that? Yes or no?
Maybe. I have an idea. You're not going to like the idea, but maybe.
Cool. I tell you what, I'll bring it 2 weeks from today or 2 weeks from Monday. And if you don't, cool, man. Thanks for playing.
Cool. All right. My daughter's still not out. So, man.
My goodness. Well, I'm definitely wrapping it up because it's after midnight. So I appreciate you guys coming on, chatting
Hey,
it up.
Troubling, thanks.
Absolutely, Glenn. You gotta watch the interrupting,
That's
Glenn.
Jim.
Or just Jim. Jesus.
Jim.
Glenn and Jim.
Jim or Jim,
Jim.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, you know who
Cool.
I meant. Jim,
Cool,
you
man.
gotta watch the interrupting, man. But I love you. You're killing it out here. Fiery passion and great points as per usual. I feel.
Hey,
Lots of disagreement in the sides, right? I guess it just depends on if you believe in the ball or not. But
the ball.
Or you could measure it. That's the other option.
Oh my God.
you could see a drop.
Oh.
I'll give you that you
You
can see
measure
a
a
drop,
drop.
and then you can infer.
Oh my
from it.
God.
You
Oh
can
my
pretend
God.
that there's a ball from there.
Hey.
In any case,
Hey,
Bruhead-
Glenn, you take it easy. Troubling, you take it easy.
All right. See you, Jim. All right. Thank you, Troubling. Enjoy. I'll be off. See you.
Absolutely. Peace, guys.
Peace.
And YouTube, Rockfin, you guys don't go anywhere. Of course, you know we're going to play you out. I do want to read off the super chat, I guess, which is what we'd call it for Rockfin, $20. We appreciate it. Stego Bro. The question, of course, for Ruhif is like, can you please provide any actual globe proof? Actually, let's not be rude. Let's actually read it. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. Ruhif, please show us some proof of curve. The truth fears no investigation. Keep up the great work. Troubling Flat Gang, much love. Thank you for the generous donation. All right, and thank you everybody else who supported the show. Let's go ahead. Let me get off of the screen here. That's better. All right, guys, we appreciate you. Much love. What the heck are we going to play out with today? I think we're going to do the usual. What else would we do? Definitely want to get somebody to create a custom outro and intro here very soon. FMX, Chris, where you at, my friend? Help me get that put together. But yeah, what a fantastic show. Once we actually were able to kick up the conversation, TikTok seems to be dying, guys, so we may be moving on from there here pretty soon. We might give them one more shot. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We definitely don't think we had too much of a dumpster fire here today. So appreciate you guys. Again, thank you for all the love and the support. Had a lot going on in the background, so it is appreciated. Let's not listen to that because that's not the one. But instead, we will do... Jesus, my computer's acting so slow. I need to give it a good old reset. Okay. Come on now. Now it's just going to start scrolling. There we go. All right, guys, much love. Until next time, I will see you. What do we got going on? Today is Friday. Wow, what a week, guys. So I will see you Sunday for Globebusters. It is going to be an awesome show. Look forward to seeing you all there. Of course, you know the rules. Be here or be sphere. And then after that, we will be kicking off Monday once again. So, folks, until then, I hope you have a good one. Peace.